To the Talk Sports Show with Alec Pecano. Today's show is another edition of the Way Too Early College Football Predictions for 2024. And today we're doing the American Athletic Conference. Let's get started. So here's my Way Too Early American Athletic Conference standings predictions. In last place in the AAC will be Temple. And later on in this show, I will give you the record for every. I have it broken up into three or four different parts for the record for every American Athletic Conference team. But first, here's the standings. Like I said, Temple's number 14, number 13, UAB, number 12, Tulsa, number 11, North Texas, number 10, East Carolina, number 9, Navy, number 8, Charlotte, number 7, Army, 6, Rice, 5, UTSA, 4, Tulane, 4, FAU, 3, Tulane, Tulsa, Memphis, 2, South Florida, number 1. Teams that I think will be improved this year in the American Athletic Conference. And here's the three teams. Number 3, Tulsa. Their record under Kevin Wilson in his first year last year as head coach was 4-8. I think they improve by 1 win. They go 5-7. I can see them going 5-7 this year. If you look at their schedule, there's a couple games that are toss-ups, but the rest, I think there's a bunch of wins on there. Number 2, Temple. And I think Temple's only going to improve by 1 win. And they will go from 2-10 to 3-9. And then Charlotte. I think Biff Poggi is going to have a big second year in the American. And they're going to go from 3-9 in 2023 to 6-6 in 2024. Now here's my record prediction, way too early record predictions for 1 through 4 in the American. At number 1 is South Florida. I think they're going to go 11-2. They have a couple games on here that could be. I can't pull up their schedule, but I know for a fact they play Miami and Alabama. And I think they might beat one or both of those schools. Number 2, Memphis, 10-2. I think Memphis is another team that's going to compete for a conference title in the American this year in football. And I think they're going to be really good. Number 3, Tulane. Tulane, and you will see here in a little bit why Tulane is so high. I love John Summerall. I think John Summerall is a really good head coach. And FAU's at number 4. I think they're going to go 9-4 this year, with their losses being to South Florida, Memphis, UTSA, and Army. Those are their 4 losses. And segment number 2 starts with my way too early conference championship game predictions, and I'm going to give you 3. My third one is Tulane in South Florida. Now, I can see this one happening, but the question is, are both these teams going to be able to make it through the conference season with maybe 1 or 2 losses in conference play? One being to each other, because USF does play Tulane this year in Tampa, I believe. And I would venture to bet that game's going to be really close, and they might see each other again in the conference championship. Number 2, Memphis, FAU. This is another game I could see going on being played, a conference championship game being played in the American. Because I think Memphis is going to be really good this year. And I think FAU is going to bounce back, and they're also going to be really good. Again, like I said, these are way too early. So this is way before the season. This is in February. You still got March, April, May, June, July, August, September. You still got 7 months until college football season. And number one in the most likely way too early prediction AAC Conference Championship game is Memphis and South Florida. The two teams at the top of the rankings in the AAC. I think that this is going to be your most likely conference championship game. Now here's my way too early coach of the year for the American. At number 3, Kevin Wilson. I mentioned a minute ago how I think Tulsa is going to be improving by 1 win. They're going to improve a little bit this year, and I think it's going to be a big time improvement between 5 and 6 wins. And I think Kevin Wilson will be finalist for Coach of the Year in the AAC. Number 2, Tom Herman. I think FAU is another team that's going to be vastly improved in 2024. And they get my honorable mention for teams that will improve in 2024. I think Tom Herman is going to have his guys at FAU, the fighting Tom Hermans, as I call them. I think he is going to have them play really well this year. And I think he might win Coach of the Year. And number 1, this guy has done a heck of a job in the portal and retaining guys at Tulane that were going to leave because of Willie Fritz. That would be John Summerall. Yes, if that sounds familiar, that is the old head coach at Troy. He took the job at Tulane when Willie Fritz left to go take the Houston job. I love this hire for Tulane. I think John Summerall and Tulane, I think Summerall can win Coach of the Year. Now here is 5 through 8 in my AAC way too early rankings. At number 5, UTSA. I think they will improve this year. A lot like they did. They did good last year, but I think they make a big win improvement and get 8 wins, go 8-3. With, yes, one of their losses being to USF. I think USF gets revenge on them for last year. At number 6, Rice. I think Rice is going to be very, very vastly much improved this year in their second year in the American. And with the amount of work they've done some work in the portal, and you will see a transfer portal update going forward when I do these way too early predictions for college football season. But I think Rice is going to be improved. Army is new to the American. That's why they're at number 7. I feel like Jeff Monken and the Army boys can make some noise in the conference, in the American Athletic Conference. And last but not least, at 8th, in this portion of the rankings, is Charlotte. I think Biff Poggi and Charlotte are going to have a very, very good season. Very good. And segment number 3. Here is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. 9 through 14 now in the AAC rankings. So at number 9, I have Navy. I do think Navy's going to be a little bit improved this year in the second year under Brian Newberry. And I think that Navy's going to go 7-6 and be very much, they're going to be better. Army is going to go I didn't say Army's record in the last one, but I think Army goes 8-4. But Navy's going to go 7-6. And same with Charlotte. They're going to go 7-6 as well. I didn't say that in the last one. I did now. So forgive me. But I think Navy under Brian Newberry in his second season, they're going to be a lot more improved than they were last year. Number 10, East Carolina. Yes, I think East Carolina is going to be improved this year in the American. I think they're going 6-6, which takes them out of the bottom feeder in the American. And you'll find out in a minute who the bottom feeder is in the American. At number 11, North Texas. North Texas is another team that I just don't. They really haven't done that much in the portal. I don't think they're going to improve. They might make a bowl game. They're going to go. I have them going 6-6. At number 12, Tulsa. I mentioned earlier, and if you want to fast forward back and go back to the beginning of the video, I did say Tulsa was going to be one of the improved teams in the American, and I think they will. 5-7 is their record that I'm predicting way before the season. And I think in his second year in Tulsa, Oklahoma, I think you're going to start to see the pieces come together for Kevin Wilson as the head coach at Tulsa. Number 13, UAB. I think UAB is going to go. Trent Dilfer and UAB, I think they go 4-8 this year. They went 4-8 last year, so that's back-to-back 4-8 seasons. And I think he might be canned at the end of the year. At the end of the video, I will give you 3 coaches in the American that I think might be on the chopping block to get axed if they don't start the season off well. And in last place, Temple, 3-9. This is self-explanatory. I don't think Temple. I think they improved by 1 win, but I think their coach is also on the hot seat. Now, as I mentioned, you will get a transfer portal update here in a second. Yep, I'm going to give you more guys I think that are in the portal that where I think they might go. Transfer portal. So, we're going to start with some quarterbacks. Looking at this before the stream. So we're going to start with Jaden DeLara at Texas, who was at Texas State, but he took his name, he put his name back in the portal after his offensive coordinator left. 3 schools I think that could use Jaden DeLara. I think he might go to he needs a quarterback. He might go to Michigan, so that's number 3. Because Michigan just lost J.J. McCarthy. So he might go to Michigan. He might go to Could I see him going to somewhere like... So Michigan's number 3. It's because they lost J.J. McCarthy. Number 2... Rutgers. I could see him going to Rutgers because I think Rutgers does need a quarterback. And number 1, he goes to Temple and beats the quarterback at Temple. So Michigan, Rutgers, Temple. Gunnar Gundy. I can see Gunnar going to Maybe he stays in the group of 5 and he goes to maybe Temple and tries to be quarterback at Temple. I don't really. I know why he's in the portal. He wants playing time, and there's not a lot of schools that are going to give him that option. But I think he might transfer to. I'm going to give you my bold prediction of where he goes. I think he stays in the MAC and goes to Miami of Ohio. I don't think Brett Gabbert might not go back to Miami of Ohio. Gunnar Gundy to Miami of Ohio. I'm going to talk about somebody else in the portal. Julian Sayin. To me, this doesn't make. I don't think it doesn't make a lot of sense to me as to why Julian Sayin transferred to Ohio State. We've already got Aaron Nolan, Lincoln Keenholz, Will Howard, Devin Brown. That's 4 QBs. I don't understand why Julian Sayin chose Ohio State. At least for this year. Maybe he gets a chance next year to be the starting quarterback. I don't know. If you're enjoying the video, please leave a thumbs up and comment down below. TJ Finley. I absolutely love the choice he made in the portal. Going from Texas State to Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky, what are they known for? Throwing the football. They love to throw the football. And I think he's in for a big year. Jaden George. I could see him going back to Miami at some point. He's in the portal right now, but I could see him taking his name out within the next couple of weeks because I think once Cam Ward leaves, they're going to need a quarterback. And I think Jaden George can be their quarterback of the future. Austin Mack, transferring from Washington to Alabama. Now, this one's self-explanatory. The reason he went from Washington to Bama is he followed Kalen DeBoer from Bama to Washington. No, from Washington to Alabama. And he's going to probably be the presumed future starter for Alabama once Jalen Milroe goes to the NFL. Cameron Ward. I was obscenely wrong on Cameron Ward. I didn't think Miami was a spot for him to go. I didn't think he was going to go to Miami. I thought it was Ohio State, Michigan, or Wisconsin. I did not have Miami in that top 3. William Haskell's another one that's he's an interesting story. He's an interesting fella in the portal at quarterback. I think Haskell ends up going back to Washington somehow and being back up behind Will Rogers for a year. If he doesn't go back to Washington, I think he goes the group of 5 route and goes to maybe North Texas or somebody in the group of 5 like Malachi Nelson did. Clinton McDowell. He was on Montana. He was on the University of Montana football team last year. I watched extensive film on him. Kid can throw the ball. I like this move from Montana to Temple for him. Reese Mooney. Liberty transferred from Liberty to North Texas. I seem to think that he might be the starting quarterback next year for North Texas. I don't know. He might be. Another transfer portal quarterback that I really liked his choice was Eli Holstein. Yes, they do have Nate Yarnell, but if Yarnell struggles, I think Yarnell's got a short lease now that they actually got a backup quarterback. I know Holstein did not play at all last year for Bama, but I really like the kid. I watched high school tape on him, and I think the kid is special in many ways. Let's go to we go all the way back to the top now and go to running backs. We're going over every position. Uh, so the first guy I'm going to talk about in the portal from is going from Arizona to Washington following Jed Fitt. Oh no, he's going there with Kalen DeMoore. Jonah Coleman transferring from Arizona to Washington. Now, oh no, they got Jed Fish. So this is a guy that I do like this. He's following his head coach from Arizona to Washington. I like this move for Jonah Coleman a lot. Now, the big one is Quinshon Judkins. I didn't know that he was going to jump in the portal. If he did, I would have picked Ohio State as one of the 3 landing spots for Quinshon Judkins. Because Judkins, I think him and Travion Henderson are going to make one of the best backfields in college football. Raydell Williams going from Alabama to Florida State. Now, Alabama has lost a lot of guys in the portal because of losing Nick Saban. If they didn't lose Saban, I think Raydell Williams stays at Bama and doesn't leave. Now, Logan Diggs going from LSU to Ole Miss. This one doesn't really make sense to me. Actually, it does, because they just lost Quinshon Judkins. If they didn't lose Judkins, I don't think they go after Logan Diggs. I like this a lot, though, for Ole Miss. They get a replacement running back from Quinshon Judkins, who went to Ohio State. Let's see here. Anthony Tice the third, going from Northwestern to Ohio. I think he's doing this for playing time purposes only. And I like it. I think he's going to get more reps in that backfield at Ohio U than he did at Northwestern. Couple more running backs, and then we're going to do wide receivers. Rashad Amos is in the portal from Miami of Ohio. Now, I don't know what to say about this because it seems like Miami's losing all their players. I think he's in the portal right now, but I think the smart decision for him, he's mulling over his options. I think at some point he will take his name out of the portal. And then you've got Anthony Littleton II going from Maryland to Temple. Now, this one makes, to me, it makes the most sense. Because Temple does need a running back. I've looked at their roster extensively. They need running backs like the like spilled milk. And now we're going to take a look at some wide receivers in the portal. So Nick Nash had his name in the portal, but he withdrew it, which is a smart decision in my opinion. He is, I think he gets a lot more targets at San Jose State than he were somewhere else. Next guy is Audric Harris, going from Arizona to Washington. He is following his head coach, Jed Fish, to Washington. So I like this move a lot. And I think he's going to have a big season at Washington. Next one is Jeremy Bernard, going from Washington to Alabama. Now, with this one, I understand why he's going to Washington, from Washington to Alabama, to be with the head coach now at Alabama, Kalen DeBoer. I like the move, even though I don't know if he's going to get playing time this year. It might be next year or the year after. The next one is a big one. Isaiah Bond from Alabama to Texas. Big get for Texas along their offense. Huge. Dante Cephas, going from Penn State to Kansas State. This one makes when he committed to Penn State last year, I didn't understand why. That move it was head scratching. I could have told you that he probably wasn't gonna get the amount of targets he wanted at Penn State, because you had other receivers that had to get the ball. And I think he's going to have a lot better season at Kansas State this year. Now you got Shaz Preston going from Alabama to Tulane. Now, this is another one that I can say this makes more sense than Dante Cephas going from Penn State to Kansas State. Shaz Preston barely played at Bama last year because he was a little ways down the depth chart. But I feel like Shaz Preston is going to do really good at Tulane. And then you got Dorian Singer going from USC to Utah. I like this move a heck of a lot more than when Dorian Singer was at USC. He fell out of favor with the offensive staff at USC, and I think transferring to Utah is going to do wonders for him. And that'll do it for the transfer portal update. And now here is my way too early players to watch for the AAC football season. Number 3, Byron Brown, South Florida. Now, with Byron Brown, I think he's going to have a bigger season this year in his sophomore year than he did last year. And I think he's going to help USF win the American Athletic Conference. Ty Thompson, number 2. Ty Thompson / Kai Horton. Whoever gets the starting job in Tulane. I like both of these quarterbacks a lot. I've watched Kai Horton played a couple games last year for Tulane, but I can't really say whether I have more expectation. I have medium expectations for Ty Thompson compared to Kai Horton. Kai Horton is don't really know. Max Brown is number 1, and he's transferring to Charlotte. I think Max Brown might end up being the starter for Charlotte this year. Don't know how, don't know why. I just think he might be the starter there. And so, and then my honorable mention goes to Evan Simon from from uh Temple. From Temple. I apologize for that just a second ago, but we are going to now, since we still got time left, I am going to look back at no, so 30 minutes. We're going to share my screen. We're going to pull up Google, and we're going to pull up an old YouTube video, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. We're going to go over. No, that's not. We're going to find a video. The one thing I do want to show you guys is I do offer memberships and merch. We're going to go over that now. Let's go over here. So this join button, you click on it, and it gives you all of the memberships I offer. So the 99 cents a month for the opener level. The starter level is $4.99, $9.99 for the premium, and expert level is $14.99. And you do get badges with how long you've been a member for. And there's also neat perks like meet and greets, priority reply comments, members only live stream if we get enough members. And then the merch store. Here's all the merch I offer. Boom, right here. Yes, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, that'll wrap up today's Talk Sports Show episode. I will see you back here on Thursday for 3 videos. College basketball show at 10:40. NFL mock draft at 12:20. And the live stream of the live play-by-play commentary of the North Florida, North Alabama Lions basketball game. But until the next video, this is Alec Pecado, Talk Sports Show host, signing off. Peace!